Your
Beyond
inner
the Gate
strength.
spoilers for the week of February 2nd through February
Once we
6th
launch my
promise a
first
brutal
line,
mix
we'll be
of
on our way to
heartbreak,
giving the
tough
Kardashians
love,
a run
and
for
big
their money.
swings at Fairmont Crest.
I'm gonna shake things up.
Episodes number 221
The
through number
cycle of anger
225
isn't
push
healthy.
Anita and
I'll
Bill
be
into
healthy
life-altering
again.
medical decisions.
As soon as I make a couple
Turn
of
Nicole
cheaters
into
pay for
Nicole
blowing up
2.0,
my life.
who has Ted all kinds of confused.
There were a
and built
number of
toward
times
a
when
surprise
you
engagement
or
as
a member
Chelsea,
of your family
Madison,
needed a
Danny,
favor.
Andre, and more decide
This is
what
a
kind of
situation
future
where
they
you owe
actually
me
want.
one.
Across the week, Leslie makes a risky offer to Ashley, a friend dishes out tough love to Derek, Smitty and Jacob risk their necks undercover, and Kat's shocking news puts her at odds with her cousin. The CBS daytime serial continues to air weekdays on CBS and stream on Paramount+, with Season 1 also available on Pluto TV's 24/7 Beyond the Gates Fast channel. New episodes remain part of the CBS television network daytime lineup, with live and on-demand access for Paramount Plus with Showtime subscribers and next-day on-demand access for Paramount Plus Essential viewers, giving fans plenty of ways to catch up before February sweeps really kick in. Beyond the Gate spoilers, Anita's heartbreaking February 3rd choice and Bill's health scare. On February 2nd, 2026, Tina Charles previewed the Tuesday, February 3rd episode under the headline Beyond the Gate spoilers February 3rd. Anita takes control as Bill seeks the truth about his health, teasing that Anita embraces change, Bill hunts for medical answers, and family tensions flare across Fairmont Crest. The February 3rd installment is also billed as Anita faces a heartbreaking moment, with spoilers stressing that Anita confides in Danny, who then recommends a bold course of action, and that Anita opens up about a deeply personal issue that pushes her daughter to urge her to take a bold step. Anita, played by Tamara Tunie, is described as a famous singer and entertainer, and this new stage of her cancer journey hits her identity hard. In the cut above the rest section of the preview, she ultimately turns to her daughter Danny, played by Karla Mosley, a former supermodel, for support. Danny recommends that Anita make a dramatic change, and the BTG weekly video preview even shows Anita cutting her hair, a visual symbol that she refuses to let illness define her. While Anita takes control, Bill's story turns even darker. Under the Determined to Find Out banner, the spoiler notes that Bill, Time and Kyle duet, is going through a health scare of his own after Madison, credited as Kenja, flags terrifying blood work where his electrolytes were all over the place and his carbon dioxide levels were low. The preview warns that this doesn't just happen and spells out that Bill is trying to get to the bottom of the scare, unaware that his wife Haley, played by Mokita Goings, has been poisoning him for weeks and recently upped the dosage, a move that may be the biggest mistake of Haley's life. Soap Opera News February 2nd, 2026 breakdown of February 3rd echoes the urgency, emphasizing that Bill is laser-focused on getting answers about his health scare even as Haley pushes to move their relationship forward. That coverage stresses that right now, he needs clarity. He wants to know what's really going on before it's too late, and it underlines that Beyond the Gates airs weekdays on CBS, positioning this episode as a key turning point. Vernon's warning, Kat's shocking news, and speculation about Naomi and Chelsea. In the Another Vernon warning section, Tina Charles describes Vernon, played by Clifton Davis, as having really taken Andre, played by Sean Freeman, under his wing. Both Vernon and Anita are completely on board with Danny and Andre's marriage, and Andre's help on Vernon's projects has made him, in their words, a wonderful son-in-law. Even so, Vernon is set to issue yet another warning, with the spoiler teasing that his concern probably has something to do with Bill's relentless presence and the way Bill remains territorial with Danny despite ditching her for a younger model. The shocking news section spells out that teasers suggest that Kat, Colby Mohammed, receives shocking news that puts her at odds with her cousin. The preview openly wonders whether that fight is about Chelsea, played by Ronnie Rose Mantilla, and her bestie's latest bold move with Madison, or about Naomi, played by Ariel Prepeti, being a BRCA gene carrier who still has not told Jacob, played by Jaiba Horges, or the rest of the family. A Q&A style need-to-know recap from Soap Opera News boils the day down to Anita confiding in Danny, Vernon issuing a warning to Andre, and Kat receiving that cousin-related bombshell, underscoring how central these stories are to the weeks Beyond the Gate spoilers. Monday, February 2nd, episode number 221 Leslie's risky offer and Madison and Chelsea's life-changing decision. Parade's episode-by-episode guide for the week labels Monday's installment as episode number 221, airing Monday, February 2nd, 2026. In that hour, Madison, played by Kenjam Kneale, and Chelsea, played by Ronnie Rose Mantilla, make a life-changing decision that sets their future in motion. Ashley Morgan, played by Jen Jacob, receives an offer from Leslie, played by Trisha Mangrant, that she may regret, while a friend gives Derek, played by Ben Gavin, some tough love. At the same time, Kat, listed as Colby Nixon in that breakdown, and Isaiah, played by David Lamy Freeb, get into a heated exchange that shows just how much tension is bubbling under at Fairmont Crest. Thomas, played by Alex Alegria, becomes a sounding board as Eva, played by Amber Michelle, vents her frustrations. A dynamic daytime confidential summarizes under the cheeky subheading Kat and Eva spread their mess across Fairmont Crest. Episode number 222, airing Tuesday, February 3rd, 2026, weaves together Anita's and Bill's crises with the rest of the ensemble. Parade synopsis notes that Anita, credited there as Tamara Tunie, confides in Danny, credited as Karla Mosley, and that Danny recommends a bold course of action, lining up perfectly with the heartbreaking moment and haircut teased in the other previews. Vernon, again played by Clifton Davis, issues a warning to Andre, played by Sean Freeman, as he tries to protect his son-in-law and Danny's marriage. Bill, listed in that guide as Timon Kyle Durrett T., stays determined to get to the bottom of his health scare, unaware of Haley's secret poisoning, and Kat, credited there as Colby Nixon, receives the same shocking news that puts her at odds with her cousin that Soap Opera News and Soap Hub both emphasize. A Primetimer-style weekly preview, published 3 days before these episodes, puts it simply: Anita opens up to Danny about a deeply personal issue, and their conversation pushes Danny to urge her mother to take that bold step, underscoring just how intimate this story is. Wednesday, February 4th, episode number 223, Danny's Confession and Undercover Danger. Midweek, episode number 223, dated Wednesday, February 4th, 2026, piles on more fallout. Danny admits the truth to Andre that she kissed her ex-husband Bill, a confession that threatens both her marriage and Vernon's faith in his wonderful son-in-law. Smitty, played by Mike Manning, meets with his source as part of Jacob's undercover case, and Jacob, played by Jaiba Horges, makes real progress in that investigation. Threads daytime confidential groups under the banner of undercover investigations on Beyond the Gates. Chelsea is stunned by the change she sees in her grandmother Anita, tying back to the radical hair decision that defines Anita's cancer storyline. Haley, spelled without the second. Chelsea is stunned by the change she sees in her grandmother Anita, tying back to the radical hair decision that defines Anita's cancer storyline. Haley, spelled without the second Y in this listing but clearly the same character played by Mokita Goings, flirts with Isaiah, pulling him further into Kat and Eva's orbit. Caroline, played by Ellie Wang, is also surprised by Bill, hinting that his health scare and emotional spiral are starting to bleed into every corner of Fairmont Crest. Thursday, February 5th, episode number 224, Nicole 2.0, Ted, and Shanice's revolting discovery. Episode number 224, slated for Thursday, February 5th, 2026, belongs to the adults who should know better. Vanessa, played by Lauren Buglioli, is pulled into Joey's inner sanctum as John Lindstrom's character opens up in ways that blur the line between mentor and co-conspirator. Kill, played by Greg Vaughn, takes Nicole, credited as Daphnee Duplaix, out on a date that Daytime Confidential describes as Nicole 2.0 hitting the town, and the primetime vibe leaves Ted, played by Keith D. Robinson, utterly perplexed. The episode guide notes that Ted is confounded by his ex's new appearance, language that lines up with the spoiler headline Nicole 2.0 has Ted all kinds of messed up, in Joshua Baldwin's January 31st, 2026 column. Shanice, played by Ernestine Johnson in one listing and Ernestine Johnson Morrison in another, makes what one recap calls a revolting, horrifying discovery, and Anita once again locks horns with Anastasia, played by Tameka Soretti. In the middle of that chaos, Mona, played by Karen Kendrick, thanks Randy, credited as Maurice P. Kerry and Maurice P. Kerry in different breakdowns, for his rescue, underscoring how dangerous Fairmont Crest has quietly become. Friday, February 6th, episode number 225, An Engagement, Andre and Pamela's Pact, and Grayson's Phone Call. Friday's episode number 225 is labeled as airing on Friday, February 5th, in Parade's guide, even though the week of February 2nd through February 6th clearly runs through that Friday, a small numbering quirk that does not lessen the stakes. The episode is built around one couple who gets engaged, but the spoilers deliberately stop short of naming which pair makes it official. Daphnee finds herself turned down in a way that reinforces how much damage her kiss with Bill has done, even as Andre conspires with Pamela, played by Katie McLean, to advance his own agenda. Eva, played by Amber Michelle, updates her mama on the change in her relationship status, while Ted confronts Leslie in public about her actions, matching Daytime Confidential's promise that Ted confronts Leslie in public. Derek and Shanice commiserate over everything they have learned, an echo of the tough love Derek received earlier in the week. And in the night's most soapy flourish, Grayson Perez, played by Jordi Villasuso, and Ashley Morgan's romantic evening takes a dramatic turn when he gets a mysterious phone call that clearly will reverberate past episode number 225. The wider February 2nd to 6th 2026 soap slate. Beyond the Gates itself, Soap Hub's navigation and newsletter sign-ups highlight days of our lives, General Hospital, The Young and the Restless, and The Bold and the Beautiful alongside Beyond the Gates, while extras like the Soap Hub Says podcast, entertainment news, games, and trivia reinforce how central daytime is to its brand. Soap Opera News uses its Beyond the Gates spoilers page to encourage readers to follow on Google News to stay up to date with all the latest news, spoilers, recaps, interviews, and more, and to plug another headline, General Hospital spoilers February 3rd. One shocking call changes everything. Together with Parade, Primetimer, and Daytime Confidential, these outlets give fans multiple lenses on the same Fairmont Crest drama. Why these Beyond the Gates spoilers hit so hard? In analysis, all of these Beyond the Gates spoilers for February 2nd to 6, 2026 build on one core idea: control. Anita's decision to cut her hair in the midst of a cancer battle reframes a heartbreaking moment as a declaration of agency, especially for a black woman whose career as a singer and entertainer has always been tied to image. Bill's refusal to ignore blood work where his electrolytes were all over the place and his carbon dioxide levels were low sets up a collision between medical truth and marital betrayal once he finally realizes Haley has been poisoning him at the same time. The week leans into generational rifts. Kat's mysterious cousin-related bombshell, whether it connects to Chelsea's bold move with Madison or Naomi's BRCA status, forces younger characters to decide how much family secrecy they are willing to tolerate. Nicole 2.0 and Ted's bewilderment, Smitty and Jacob's undercover work, and the unnamed couple's engagement turn Fairmont Crest into a place where reinvention, surveillance, and commitment all come with a hidden price tag. With Anita, Danny, Bill, Haley, Leslie, Ashley, Derek, Chelsea, Madison, Vanessa, Joey, Kill, Nicole, Ted, Smitty, Jacob, Shanice, Andre, Pamela, Grayson, and Ashley all caught at pivotal crossroads, these Beyond the Gates spoilers point to a February stretch that could permanently reshape life inside Fairmont Crest. For viewers who want to be ready for whatever happens after episode number 225, Beyond the Gates spoilers for February 3rd and the rest of the week make it clear. Now is the moment to catch up on CBS, Paramount Plus, or Pluto TV before the next twist hits Fairmont Crest.